What's up, guys, and welcome to the NGMI podcast. Today we have a very interesting episode. Jack put an ad on Craigslist. I woke up getting a bunch of emails from people saying, hey, I have a very unique job, and like this is what it is, etc.
Yeah.
We had one guy who said he had a unique job in cybersecurity, and he worked with very serious, sketchy deals through the government that included sex entities and like different sorts of like weird, illegal things. He asked to be anonymous. And
sounded cool.
So we were like, whoa, this sounds serious. And Jack was like, he's got an encrypted email, right? So it seems pretty legit that he would be working in cybersecurity. And his ad said $50. And 15 messages down, he goes, is the price negotiable? And he negotiated for $75.
Yeah.
So this guy wants to be anonymous. He gets nothing out of being on the podcast. He actually wants the money, the $75.
Right.
And then he was like, also, do you guys like drink beers on the podcast? And, like, can we get some beers? So he was very excited about that. And I was talking to Jack. I was like, are you sure that this guy is like who would come on our podcast and like talk about like government security and shit like that?
Yeah.
And be asking for for $75.
Yeah, negotiated
and
$25
beer.
more and wanted beer.
I was like, I don't know. He might be just kind of like homeless or something.
Yeah, Scott thought he was a homeless guy. And I was like, he's definitely not homeless. He has an encrypted email, so I'm sure he has a computer. And he ended up having
Jack's
a car.
one defense.
Yeah. But
he did end up having a car.
So he has to have a power source, so I'm guessing he's not homeless. But I wasn't going to say he's not going to be a creepy guy.
And not to say that he was creepy. That's for everyone else to decide if they want to. But
Jack was saying, he's like, yeah, Kevin, you're going to have to sit on like right now next to him. Like, hope he doesn't stab you or nothing. I was like, what? Who's this guy, Jack?
We filmed the episode yesterday, and I feel like we had to shoot the secondary intro because, well, the intro that we got was weird as fuck.
Super.
Yeah.
And the situation was just super weird and sketchy for us. I actually asked him to sit in the red chair because I thought it would be funny if he did the intro, but really I just kind of wanted him to be the furthest away from the door, so if something went wrong, we could get out. Yeah. I sat where Kevin sits, and Kevin sat like over here.
Yeah.
I had like my fight or flight was on the entire time. I was like staring at like if his hands moved and stuff. I was like, what if he like reaches for a knife or something? Like, because we just didn't know this guy, and I'm like, I don't film stuff in public. I don't film stuff with strangers. So Jack likes to do things that kind of put me out of my comfort zone in general. I literally was like, I don't think I want some like random person who we haven't even seen like an Instagram of to come do our podcast. Like,
yeah, wants to be anonymous.
He was anonymous to us before we saw him as well, which is like a major brain fart on our part to not like kind of be like, hey, can you give us some information on yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say, I've used Craigslist so many times hiring people and never once have had like a bad experience. So going into it, I was like, hey, it's worked so many times before. What could go wrong?
Not work this time.
And I'll be honest, this guy was like, generally like speaking, he wasn't mean or anything. Like he was pretty nice, but something about him really struck me the wrong way. And if you guys, you can just watch the episode and see what you think. We're going to play the episode for you now. It's one of the weirdest things that we've done on this podcast and in my life ever, to be honest. And so you just watch it. We'll probably do a little recap afterwards and explain some of the things that were said off camera. But yeah, here's the episode.
We'll also add a voice effect on you, so your voice is unrecognizable as well.
It's not going to work.
Huh?
It's not going to work.
Why?
I have a lot of experience with cybersecurity, and they could. There's this. Are you recording?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. Record.
Yep.
Yep. So, and you have levels. Levels are okay.
Mm-hmm. Levels
Check. Everything's good?
Hello.
Everything's set.
All right, can we get...
Okay.
All right, you want to try the intro?
What's
up,
the
guys?
intro?
Just say, what's up, guys? Welcome to the NGMI podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Not Gonna Make It.
Oh, he
in
knows the
this
full
world.
name. Good work.
There we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys, so we have a special guest here today. We have Davo. That's what you go by?
Oh, we're not going to use your name?
Davo's great.
We can say your name?
Davo's perfect.
Okay. We got Davo here.
So Davo, we wanted to know kind of what your background is, what your line of work is.
These days I'm in cybersecurity.
Okay.
So, it's kind of confusing. A lot of people don't realize like how much the world relies on technology.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you deal with a lot of hackers?
Yeah. I'm sort of I'm the blue team. We have people like the red team. The red team is they infiltrate, and the blue team does sort of like defense. Yeah. It's tough. It's like oh Lord.
Defense against what kind of things?
Just cyber attacks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best analogy I could think of is like if you have windows open, maybe you're trying to find like, let's make sure all the windows are closed.
Right.
Yeah.
So people can't sneak in.
So I have to make sure every window is closed.
You reached out and you said that you had like some interesting stories from government positions or something like that.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on any of those? Or can you not say?
What kind of lens is that? Is that cool? Autofocus?
No, but I'm on a high enough aperture to where you're still in focus. If you lean back.
We can move this way if you want, so it's closer, so you don't have to.
Cool.
Okay.
What do you prefer?
That's
whatever
fine.
you want. I just don't want you to have to lean forward too much if you don't want, so I can like move the mic up closer to you, if you'd like.
Oh God, I'm wearing shoes.
It's okay. We're all wearing shoes.
So what type of in your listing for the Craigslist, you said you had some like crazy past work stuff. What was some of that like?
Which one?
You said there was a bunch.
What?
On the Craigslist ad you replied to, because we asked about unique professions, and you said you had a lot of unique careers in your life.
Oh, what's it? Yeah, what's interesting? I've actually I've been with a few celebrities.
Doing what?
In my 20s, just massage stuff.
You were a massage therapist?
With celebrities, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
It's kind of boring.
Any crazy stories with that?
I had some weird things, yeah.
Like what?
Well, celebrities, I'm sure you guys would know.
Do weird stuff?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, they're kinky people.
Kevin, you got any questions?
Not too many. So you do like cybersecurity, right? So like closing up, like, so people can't get into like certain systems. Do you do that for the government?
Or just a cybersecurity company in general?
So, well, the deal is, you play ball. Let me think. Hold on.
If you're not comfortable talking about it, we can end this now. We don't have to go any further if you don't want to.
Oh no, it's it's fun. It's fun for me.
So you said it was like playing ball.
There's a weird thing where it's like, I don't know how young you guys are very young.
Mm-hmm.
During the 2020 elections, like, I mean, even before that, I got a little, as a hired to me, perhaps examine the,
You got hired to examine what?
oh, I forget, but, I'll just go. There was a thing where a lot of people said that the election was hacked by Russians.
Right.
And it was.
It was.
Yeah. Allegedly. Allegedly.
But you have the insider information on this.
So maybe it was hacked by Russians, but it's not really. They had a certain result that they had assumed. Jesus, what is this?
That's our CBD, Happy Face CBD products.
There's CBD.
They're like CBD
hemp
cigarettes.
smokes. It's little cigarettes, but with CBD.
No nicotine.
Alright, let's. No, you do it.
Do what?
Show it off to the camera.
Oh. Here's the Happy Face CBD product, hemp smokes.
Good plug. You can have that box if you want to take home.
Yeah, if you want to take them home. Just
What-
CBD.
What's in there?
They're like CBD cigarettes.
Okay, I can't. Anyway, what
So
were we talking
is this
about?
the 2020 election you said? Or 2016?
2016, yeah.
So Hillary versus Trump
Yeah.
was allegedly hacked by...
Russian involvement.
And you had dealings with cybersecurity side of that?
My shoes on the rug. This is bad.
No, that's fine.
No.
Totally fine.
They all got shoes on the rug.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
You want to wrap this up?
No. Audio's okay.
Yeah, audio's good.
What else you got?
Yeah, any other interesting stories from work?
From work? Yeah.
Like what?
So, in my 20s, I was on Union Square. You guys are familiar?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I met with this woman. I was on the way to a birthday dinner.
Uh-huh.
She said certain things. Anyway, Jesus, you guys have nice lenses.
She said something on her birthday.
She said, hey, do you want to... I was in my 20s. I didn't know anything about it. And, she said, well, I was outside on Union Square, and she said, hey, I said, hey, do you have a cigarette? And she goes, hey, hold on a second. And she goes, you have very nice arms. Would you ever give a massage? And I said, yeah, sure. I was in, she's like, what do you do for work?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm in school. And she says, why don't you, you have very nice arms, like, could you give a massage for a person? And I said, yeah. I mean, I'm in my 20s. And she says, this middle-aged woman, she's like, they will contact me, and they'll contact me.
Who's they?
I'll tell you. Certain celebrities, which I cannot say.
Sure.
But they'd request massages and just massages?
Yeah, I would do these rock massages.
Were they just regular massages?
There was this hot, I would put these hot rocks on their backs, and I had no idea what I was doing. It's insane.
But you did it.
I went to these really nice places in New York, and my first time I went, this woman reached for my dick.
Jeez.
I was putting hot rocks that I had heated up. Like, I had no idea. I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, whoa. And then this lady I met on the street, she calls me. She goes, hey, what went wrong? And I go, she reached for my thing.
Yeah.
I had to call, like, hey, what went wrong? They were trying to reach for your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you continue working as a massage person after that?
Oh, yeah. What's that red thing? That's pretty cool.
That's just the thing for the mics to plug them in.
Yeah. What time is it?
4:10.
Pikachu here is very distracting.
The what?
The Pikachu.
Oh, the Pikachu. Move the Pikachu. It's distracting.
Sorry.
No, relax.
Okay. All right, I'll keep them.
What else? What's another question?
Why don't we get off the jobs? What are you up to now? What do you enjoy doing in your life?
Gardening is something I'm good at.
Right on.
If I have my own couple acres of land, I could kill it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What
That'd be cool.
would you like to garden?
You'd like build something out of those acres and make like a cool garden sort of experience for yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, do you guys not garden?
I haven't before. Have you guys?
I planted a couple tomato plants before and stuff in my backyard. And
What else are you up to?
What else am I up to? I'm doing I'm obsessed with programming.
Oh, cool.
I spend most of my hours on the deep web. Do you know what that?
4chan? Or like the deep web?
Oh no.
Is there a difference between the deep web and the dark web? Or is that the same
Sure.
thing? What's the difference?
Okay. Well, what's you're the tech guy, right?
He's Mr. Tech.
Supposedly, but
He
not
doesn't-
good at it. I just run the audio.
Well, they're not that different.
I only go on spider webs.
That was a good joke.
Thanks.
What was the joke?
I only walk into spider webs. You talking about deep web, dark web? I walk into spider webs. I'm an idiot. That's the joke. It's not a good joke, but that's my thing. I make bad jokes.
You got any jokes?
I got bad jokes. So I was going down on my grandma.
Uh-huh.
Should I continue?
Continue. I mean, you said I mean, that is like.
Is that the joke, or is
it
there
kind of
more?
cuts off right there? I think.
That's the joke.
No, that's the opener.
Okay.
It's going down on my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tasted something.
What'd you taste?
It was very familiar.
Tasted something familiar.
Something familiar, exactly. Have you heard this joke?
I haven't heard it.
No.
You said that.
This guy's fucking giving me an alley-oop.
Well, what was it?
It's horse semen. No, it gets worse.
Oh. What's next?
That's when I realized that's how Grandma died. You got it? Yo, this guy's fast.
Yeah, you got it quick.
Dead.
It took me a sec. Kevin, do you get it?
I get it.
Went down on your dead grandma.
That's the darkest one I know.
I can't remember any jokes. I'll be honest. Like that was good. You could even remember it. I can't remember any like joke I've heard.
Oh, knock knock. Who's there? Owls go.
Hours ago.
Owls go.
Owls go who?
There you go. There.
Got you, bro. Got you, idiot.
Shit.
No, you're part of the story. Yeah.
That's
That was
good.
the horse.
What time is it?
4:20.
Well, honestly, we had it slated for 3 to 4, so I think we're pretty good.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up? Give us the outro? Scott or Davo, whoever wants to give the outro.
I can do the outro, but it was great hanging with you, Davo.
I live here now. Is there a fourth bedroom?
No,
I
there's
wish.
not.
Alright, I'm taking this home.
Taking the mic or the
Let's go.
beer?
Let's get this to my car.
All right, give us the outro, Scott.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the NGMI podcast. Davo, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
And love the jokes. Love the stories. On the count of 3, we're all going to say NGMI out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. NGMI out. All right. So now that we've watched the episode, you guys probably saw that it was a little awkward.
Yeah, what'd you guys think?
I would love to know what you guys would have done in that situation.
Please.
But I guess we can talk about like how it was when we first met him, and like some of the comments that he made in the room, some of the things he said he didn't want on the video.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the weirdest experiences I've ever been through in my life, and like some of you guys are probably like, that was weird to you, like, but like
It's everything else that went along with it.
Before we started filming, like even like the first couple things he said to us, like we introduced ourselves, we start walking, he's like, all right, now give me your wallets. And then we look at him, he goes, nah, I'm just kidding.
We said our names, and he said, I already forgot everyone's names like 3 times. And,
Yeah.
And he's like, when we got back in here after we had repeated our names like 2 or 3 times, he was like, he was sitting across from me at the table. I think you were setting up, and you were going to the bathroom in here, and he was like, wait, I forget your guys' names again. What's your name again? And I was like, wait, don't tell me. Okay, yeah, I forgot. It was really interesting. We were sitting out there. He had asked for beers, right? So I came with a box of beers so he could have a couple beers on the podcast, and I handed him a Corona Light when he walked in. I gave myself a Corona Light when he walked in because I was really on edge after meeting the guy. And like the comment that he made right off the bat was, all right, give me your wallets. And that was like one of the initial things we were worried about, was him being kind of weird in that sense.
And also he was very like well-spoken, but in a kind of intense way. Like the way his like monotonal voice. And I think in the podcast he was a lot more quiet than he was at first when we were talking with him. but just the mannerisms and the way he was speaking was kind of eerie.
Yeah. So he like sits down at the table and he like stands up. He was really polite actually. So he like started to sit down and then he stood back up and he was like, sorry, can I sit down? And we were like, of course, yeah, sit down, make yourself at home. Actually, Brett was here and he was like, make yourself at home. Like, you know, so he sat down and he's like, this is a nice table. Where's this from? And I was like, I don't know. I think it's like IKEA or something. So he started telling a story about how when he was younger, he went to IKEA and he used to, like in his 20s, you know, when he was a baby and he was in his 20s, he used to go to IKEA and he would just walk through and just steal shit. And I was like, I like kind of was joking with him. I was like, between the first comment you made about stealing our wallets and then making another comment about how you used to steal shit, he's like, no, I used to. That was the old me. I was the old me. And he's like, you guys got a nice place. You mind if I ask how much it costs? And I said how much it costs, kind of. I changed the price a bit. And he's like, a nice view. Mind if I move in? I'm going to take an extra room.
Right.
You know, like so.
But he did have a car. He seemed pretty put together. Like his outfit was clean. Like I don't think he's just some homeless guy, you know. And he had a phone. Yeah,
no, he had some like his sense of humor for people that he just met that he could tell were wary of him. Probably, was very off-putting, and you could tell that he was like doing things to kind of like they. I don't know if he knew that he was making us uncomfortable, but at certain points it seemed like it.
Right.
Yeah.
There was like 15 minutes into the podcast where I was like, he's not really saying anything. I was like, hey, if you're uncomfortable with telling these stories that you have with the government or anything, like we can just wrap it up right now. And he was like, I mean, you probably saw the clip, but he said, no, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a kind of mischievous sense. And you guys actually probably didn't see that facial expression because his face is blurred.
Right.
Due to him. He wanted to be anonymous. We're going to honor that, obviously.
Yeah.
Go ahead. In the beginning again, what else happened?
Oh, also, this was one of the weirdest things, and it was very off-putting, is I was setting up, Kevin was sitting on the couch or something, I was setting up the cameras, and I hear him go to Scott, he's like, let's arm wrestle. And Scott's like, he's like, no, like I don't want to arm wrestle. Come on, we're gonna arm wrestle. And he was very adamant about arm wrestling Scott. And then they arm wrestled, and he was strong as shit.
He was pretty strong. Like I mean, we have a clip of us arm wrestling. I don't know if we're putting that in, but like,
I'll put the video up right here of you guys arm wrestling. Scott looks so uncomfortable.
It was so interesting. Like,
and every time Scott would look like he's starting winning, he goes, no, bend your wrist. Stop it. Like
he'd like he'd put his other hand up and he'd like grab my wrist and be like, no, you got to curve your wrist more. It's like, it's all on the wrist. You got to curve your wrist. And he started doing this with my hand and like pushing my wrist down. And then like the second time he started like doing this and just like doing this with my wrist. And I was like, my wrist feels weird. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop doing that.
There's just like a pressure point and you're like paralyzed. You're like, oh, fuck.
My wrist was literally, I was like, my wrist is kind of sore right now. Like, what was he doing to me? Like he wasn't really doing anything, but like the way he was like, he was like palpitating on my wrist with his hand. And I was like, what is this? This is so uncomfortable. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to arm wrestle you anymore. And then he asked Brett to arm wrestle. And Brett was like, fuck no, I'm not arm wrestling you.
Yeah.
And he was like, why not? I want to get beat. And I was like, okay. But it was just really weird. It kind of like felt like he was kind of sizing me up in a way. And he also kind of like when we walked in and he saw Brett there, he was like,
yeah.
It was
but like you said, he was really polite. Like his shoes on the carpet and stuff. Like he mentioned a few things. Like he was very polite the whole time. Just like
the shoes on the carpet, though.
Yeah, he mentioned that He
mentioned it 10 times.
He mentioned a few things a few times. Yeah, that he was like, oh shit, my shoes are on the carpet. And then like he'd look every time he'd look down, he'd be like, oh shit, my shoes are on the carpet. And we're like, that's all right. Everybody's shoes are on. It's cool. Yeah. And he got distracted by the Pikachu. But like, once again, it was just off-putting.
Right.
Like, I don't know if there was anything like.
The guy was fine.
That seemed.
Yeah, he didn't end up doing anything bad. It was just a lot of eerie things that were happening throughout where we're like on the edge of our seats.
We were just like what's going on?
What's going to happen?
I think it might have been the half a beer he drank halfway through, you know? Or the second beer. Maybe he just doesn't have a high tolerance.
The whole time I was waiting because like I've heard this, like only thing that I had heard is this is like some cybersecurity guy like Longo, like he's got some crazy stories, and Scott kept asking him, like maybe one time like he's gonna tell us, like he's gonna have it like finally.
Right.
Yeah. The whole time he never got the story.
His email said, I'll read the quote. Very intriguing email because he said he had to be anonymous. So I asked him, I was like, can you tell us what like your career was so we can see if it's worth it to have you want to be anonymous, because he didn't say what the career was. And he said, yeah, it ranges from what would be deemed immoral cybersecurity work for government entities to sex work. So like that's a nice hook right there.
Yeah.
That gets you drawn in.
And okay, so multiple times over the phone, I had told Jack, like, I don't know if I'm like really digging this like vibe or whatever. I don't know if I really want to do this. Jack says, no, you never say you don't want to do this. You said you might not want to have him in your apartment, a stranger in your apartment. I was like, that
he
means
never
I
said
don't want
he
him
never
to
said
come
I
in the
don't want to have him.
podcast.
He was like, I don't know if I want him in the house. So I'm like, okay,
That's
yeah, you
right.
got to be concise. If you don't want him on, just be like, look, I don't want him on.
Yeah.
I fucking said, like,
No,
I
if
don't
you're like-
think this is the right thing to do. I don't think
No,
I
you
want
didn't say
this.
that. You said, I don't know if I want him in the apartment. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, is that a no, or
Do
is
you
that
remember
just you
verbatim,
like
word
having
for word what I
doubts?
said? Whatever. Fuck
And,
yeah,
and
it
I
doesn't
show up to
matter.
the apartment and Jack's saying all this stuff like, yeah, like he might be pretty creepy. Like, you don't know. We don't know anything about him, Kevin. Like, watch out. And I was like, what? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
Mind
that-
you, Jack is just like, no, I've
Yeah.
done Craigslist before. Everybody's normal.
Yeah, that was me teasing you because
Yeah.
I was like,
But
I've done
the
this
whole-
so
yeah.
many times. Kevin will be
whole
fine. He's
time
not
I'm-
going to be that crazy.
I was telling Jack, I was like, what if he sounds cool? Like, this guy sounds actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. I was like, all right, he's probably
That's
fine.
actually what I thought as well. I was just trying to.
But that's the thing. Like, he wasn't like crazy or anything. It
No.
was just like
No.
so interesting and like unusual for us. Okay, so we kind of covered the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then during a couple times, I mean, you probably heard him.
He kept
I'm gonna take
saying
this-
that lenses were very nice.
And like, I'm gonna take this
Yeah.
home with me. And
Yeah, he wanted to
also
take
said,
the mic home.
he also said, you guys have an extra room. This is nice.
Yeah,
So
he wanted to stay in the room.
yeah, it was just all these like little kind of off-putting comments about how he was gonna like live here, steal our shit, arm wrestling, and then as you know, he's leaving. Right now, we're moved on to leaving. Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
When it came to leaving, you know, he negotiated $75. I grabbed 100 because I was like, I just want to make him happy. Here's $100.
Yeah.
I gave him $100 and a car like a validation ticket for his car because he had a car in a parking garage, and we told him how to use it. Gave him the money, and he sat down, put his stuff down, like took stuff out of his pockets, put it back into his pockets, stood up, sat down, and then like put stuff back in his pockets. Then he stood up as he's finally like getting ready to go. And I'm like, yeah. No, he made some he made a reference. He was like, all right, who's coming with me? And I was like, I'll walk you out to the elevator. He's like, no, it was a Jerry Maguire reference. I was like, all right, well, I'll walk you out to the elevator. And he grabs his keys with like a belt loop hook, and he lifts his shirt up to put his keys there, and I see just 3 big ass knives on his waistband.
Into his pocket.
And I was like, whoa. So that's what I was wondering, if he had like something like that on him.
Right.
But I mean, of course,
You know, some people carry pocket knives, but in that certain amount of circumstances we were in, it's a little scary.
We don't know.
yeah. I mean, it made me be like, I should have probably had like my own little pocket knife, you know, like
or a duel if it came to.
for a duel. I just have a sword in my pants. I literally thought about the bottle opener and how is it little tiny knife. I was like, should I just keep this in my pocket? Like, like to have it, like, you know, obviously never want anything to escalate to any sort of violence. And that's why like the whole entire time, like even the first comment that he made about stealing our wallets, I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I don't want him to come up here, but I was like, I don't want to like make him angry as we're like just meeting him or either. But it was like a really interesting thing where I was like, fuck, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm kind of like not comfortable in this situation. I don't feel comfortable putting Kevin in this situation. Fuck Jack, because he put us in the situation.
always that part.
But I didn't know how to get out of the situation. Like, I was ready to call it. Like,
And multiple
right
times
when we
throughout
met
the podcast, you were saying like, let's just like end it. Like, we're good.
It was 3 or 4 times that I was literally like, hey, we can just wrap this up.
If
right?
any one of us were the type of personality that's very stern and like does not put up with that stuff, it would have been so easy to just be like, we're not going to do this.
But none
and
of
just
us
deal with
are.
it. But we're like the 3, like
The whole time
we don't want like any confrontation. So we're like, we'll just do a whole episode with him
like
and see what happens.
10 minutes in, I'm sitting there. I go, I hope Scott just ends this because we're just wasting our time. Like, I don't think anything's getting done here. And I was like, he finally said something like, thank God he's going to be like, yeah, we're good. And then he's like, no, this is perfect. And I was like, oh.
It didn't seem like he wanted to do it. He was literally like he was just like hanging here and he was like not saying anything. He'd like start a story and not say something. And I was like, all right, you're not saying anything. Like, you obviously don't want to do this. So I like try to wrap it up in a nice way. Like, hey, I understand if you're not comfortable telling these stories, like we can just wrap it up. And then like the second time I was like, I think we've got enough. We can finish it up here. Right. Or like the third time I was like, yeah, we're good. Like, and as far as being stern, like, yeah, definitely 100%. I'm non-confrontational. You guys are non-confrontational. Nobody wants to piss anyone off, but it was coming from a place of like worry. I was like, what if I say, all right, listen, guy, we got to go. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, all right, well, fucking give me your fucking microphone lenses.
Right.
Or give me your fucking camera lenses. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of reaction we'll get, so I want to be as nice as possible to this person, regardless.
Would have been good for the podcast. Good
Like
views.
you said, just like fight or flight. Like we were just on edge. We just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Like, it was a
off-putting.
stranger.
Fight or flight, or just sit there and let him talk for an hour.
Just sit. Yeah.
That's what we did.
It's your fight or flight reflexes, but it was like
we didn't either.
taking the most backdoor approach to either one of those things.
Right.
Just being like, all right, we're going to sit here
Just see what
and we're
happens.
going to make sure that we are super polite and nice and like not do anything to set anybody off the edge or anything like that. And, someone, if one of us was stern and was like, listen.
Like if Brett was on and he was sitting with the vibes, I feel like Brett would have been like, all right, get the fuck out. Like we're done with this shit. Like fucking leave.
Maybe. You never know. I feel like everybody is like this is the other thing is like you hear a story about how someone reacted in a situation and you're like, oh, I would have done this. And you're like, wait till you're actually in that situation and then see what you would do. Yeah. Would you actually do what you think you would? Would you be the fucking hero? Would you fucking do this or that? Like, it's so easy for someone to be like, if I was there, I would have done this. And then if they're actually put in that situation, be like fucking shit in their pants and do nothing. Like,
yeah,
it's like a really interesting thing. Not saying that Brett wouldn't do that, because Brett does have that kind of like, all right, buddy, like sort of attitude. Like,
yeah.
No, actually, Brett was cool. He was like, I was gonna leave, but I figured I'd just stick around until you guys were done.
I know, our brave protector.
Yeah, he said a couple times like, I thought you guys were like dead in there or something because no one was talking for like minutes. Like this is silent.
And honestly, we're probably making a bigger deal out of this than it is.
Yeah, way too much.
But we were just freaked out in general, Like,
yeah, it was just very eerie the whole time.
And I think we're very vanilla as well. So he looked at our podcast beforehand, and the way that he, I don't know, I think you look at our podcast and you look and you're like, 3 little white boys. Probably pussies. Not wrong.
Very true.
So,
that's our new tagline under NGMI.
3 pussies.
I mean, it's just funny. Like I was like drinking beers and I was like, every time I like drank my beer, I was like, all right, at least I have a bottle here. Like in case,
true.
But also I was like, if I just like loosen up, like I know drinking doesn't make you more reactive, but I was so on edge and like anxious that I was like, I need to like calm the fuck down.
Yeah. There was a couple times you like move or something. I'd see Scott like grab a beer and like start drinking. I was like, oh, Scott.
But I was like, did I say this already? I was literally like watching his hands the entire time.
Yeah,
like
same.
I was like up and
staring
down, like wary the entire fucking podcast on the edge of my seat. I got home, I was like mentally exhausted.
Yeah, because he was just moving around the whole time.
Like he did stuff where he like reached for in his socks and like did this a couple times. I was like, what's in his sock? Yeah, there was only the one time I think that Jack was like, Kevin, do you have any questions for him?
Yeah, I said one thing. The rest of the time I was just staring at it. I was just like, yeah, like Scott said, like, what do you do or something? Like I was just sitting here like, I don't know what to say to this guy.
Bro, I tried my best to be like, all right, I'm gonna lead this conversation, and like I feel a little weird right now, but I'm gonna be like, okay.
I'm interested to see if anyone watching this has like seen this type of personality or like mannerisms and can explain what is the case, because I don't know, I just feel like something was a little off.
Yeah, we were very confused.
Something was definitely off.
I mean, his motor skills were like, he was like losing his motor skills like throughout the podcast, and I started to kind of ease up through the podcast.
He had one beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we
couldn't
first
have
met
been
him,
drunk.
He was talking fine and like whatever, but then on the podcast it was like he just like completely slowed down. Like throughout the podcast it like deteriorated.
I'll be honest, when we finished the podcast, he started talking a little bit more normally again.
Yeah, I think
but his motor skills was like they just left him. Like he would like grab a beer, like almost spill it, and then like hold it with 2 hands right here and like do this to drink it and stuff. I was like, what is going on? Like you were fine like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It was really interesting. But advice, if you're getting anyone off of Craigslist, like maybe it'd be like, give me a little info on who you are.
If we ever do that again, we'll get like a video call with them first or something. Have them send a video submission.
Yeah.
I'm just not the kind of guy who likes to like go out and like interact with strangers in the first place. I always talk about that with like YouTube videos. I feel like it's so funny to go and like fuck with people like Billy on the Streets and like Gideon, and like there's different like people who make videos where they're trolling other people on the street, and I just feel like I can't do that. Like I don't have that in me to be like, hey, what's up, fucker? Like, how you doing? Like I like can't bring myself to like just interact in an obnoxious way with a stranger because I'm like, what if the stranger doesn't fucking like that and blows up? And like, you know, I'm just like, I don't have that, like, the thing missing in my head that's like, don't be scared of anything. Like I have definitely like, you should have a little bit of anxiety about some things. That's pretty much it for the recap for me. That's it. That's all I got.
Fun times.
Interesting times.
We're having him back next week.
Oh.
Yay. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode or if you enjoyed parts of the episode, give it a thumbs up, leave some comments, and
let us know what you think about them.
Let us know what you think about them.
Yeah, please.
Hopefully you liked them.
Yeah. Should he be a new co-host?
Whenever Dorn's not around, we call him.
Yeah.
Some insightful commentary.
And if you guys are just listening to the audio, then you kind of missed out on all the awkward pauses and stuff like that. But leave us a nice review and follow the audio, whatever. I don't know, guys. Just do everything in your power to make us get more listens and more views. Thank you so much for watching the NGMI podcast or listening. Woo! And we'll see you next time. Ready, guys? NGMI
out.
Why? How come nobody knows what to
say anything?
I didn't say out because last time you guys said you were just supposed to do the out. You guys should know when the beat is.
Say NGMI solo, then the three of us say
all
out.
Say out.
All right,
but we have to say it either staggered or hold it long enough so the camera can cut on everyone.
Oh.
Then it's more fun.
It's NGMI. Who goes? Okay, I'll go first.
Or we go at the exact same time and hold it long enough.
Out.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a long one. How is it ended every other time? I feel like I never make it to the end of the episode when I'm actually watching it.
Staggered, messed up, horrible.
Okay. NGMI. Out. Nice.